Right, I'm going to show you exactly how to make some gooey brownies. So you're going to start off with 200 grams of dark chocolate and 200 grams of unsalted butter. Now, I'll melt mine like this, but you can do it in the microwave. But just keep checking it and stirring as it is melting because you do not want to burn your chocolate. I just find it much easier to do it like this. But I do sometimes melt it in the microwave. And the reason you want to start melting the butter and the chocolate first, because it just needs to cool down for at least 5 to 10 minutes. And then you're going to need 4 eggs. So you just put each egg into the bowl. And then once you've done that, you're going to need some caster sugar. And you're going to weigh out 270 grams. Now you can either do this by hand or with a hand mixer or a stand mixer. But you want to mix this for at least 3 to 5 minutes. And this is exactly how you want your sugar and eggs to look. So they're nice and creamy and like a foamy texture. So if you do mix by hand, just make sure that you do get this consistency. And the same if you use a hand mixer. And then once your chocolate has been cooling for 5 to 10 minutes, add that into the bowl. Now you want to mix this in together by hand. So just fold it all through and it will look like this. Then in a separate bowl, you're going to weigh out 100 grams of plain flour. And then you're going to need some cocoa powder and you're going to weigh out 50 grams of that. I do think it's better to sieve this through. And then once you've done that, just fold this together. Definitely do it by hand because you do not want to let too much air out. And then this is how it will look. That is absolutely perfect. Now with the chocolate of your choice, just add this in. I'm just adding milk chocolate chips and white chocolate chips because that's all I had. But I would have added dairy milk chunks if I had them. Anyway, grease your tin. But if you're not using one of these, then definitely use parchment paper because then it will not stick to your tray. And then just add all the mixture in, spread it out evenly. And you're going to want to bake this in the oven for 25 minutes at 180. So this is what it looked like before I put it in the oven. And then once you remove it from the oven, you're going to need to let this cool down on the side. Once the tray has cooled down, I do recommend to put it in the fridge for a couple of hours. And then you can also decorate the top. I normally like to add some dairy milk chocolate chunks at the top of mine, but like I said, I didn't have any, but these brownies are still a 10 out of 10 and I will add all the recipe below.